Doctor, look.
Stand aside, nurse. I'm Dr. Homebrew.
Stand clear.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Dr. Homebrew. This show is the Mexican Lager Show. Actually, it's the Doctor's Homebrew Show, because what we've been talking about for a couple months now between us on our internal chat, our boys chat, is that we should be homebrewing together. Let's homebrew a recipe. Same recipe. Let's come up with it. It'll be a good show. So we talked about it the other day, and we said, you know what? Mexican lager. Let's do that. Karen's been asking me for a Mexican lager, and I'm like, okay. It's actually, instead of that pale ale, I was almost going to make a Mexican lager. I was like, I don't really want to. So I pitched it to you guys agreed, and then I thought, well, we can't just come up with one out of thin air. We have to drink commercial examples. So I went to the store and sort of went ham on the Mexican lager aisle, which it doesn't exist, but there should be.
I don't think I agree to this, to drinking 4 Mexican lagers on one show.
Well, you don't have to finish them.
I wouldn't not agree. But...
Right. We don't have to finish them. But so my thought process in this was that we can, just take sips of them and sort of jot down the flavor compounds that we enjoy from each beers. We don't have to call them out. And then take a break, then we come back, and then we craft the recipe sort of based on what we've been tasting and want to do something else. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
It's sort of like commercial calibration, but to generate a recipe, right? Something like that.
You're going to make me do a cereal mash. You're going to make me do a cereal mash.
Do you have to do that?
Well, you can use flakes.
See, there you go, Cooper. Like I tell my kid, if you have a problem, there's always a solution.
I'm going to be brewing in my spaghetti pot, so that's going to be, we're going to have all kinds of different techniques and equipment and everything else, and it's going to be really kind of fun to see what happens.
I think so too. Brian, do you want my Pico brew? You can have it. My Zymatic.
I had one a while back, and I used it for a little bit, and then the company went under, and then it was going to require more programming skill, I think, than I have.
Oh, I'm still using mine.
Yeah, maybe I'm just bad at technology.
Well, maybe Cooper can help you.
I can help you get started on it.
Yeah,
we'll chat.
Okay, that'd be cool. But before we do that, I want to tell you about 5-Star Chemicals. Of course, everybody knows 5-Star because they're the best in the business. But if you want to learn a little bit more about them, go to 5starchemicals.com. And while you're over there, sign up for the Homebrew Club program. You can go to 5starchemicals.com/homebrew-club-program if you want to do it the long way. Or my preferred way is just explore the website because they have a lot of cool information out there, a lot of new products that I didn't really even know about, and the best ways to clean and sanitize your home brewing equipment. So check them out. While you're there, join that Homebrew Club. Like I mentioned, you can get discounts, free stuff, monthly seminars, to learn a little bit more about this hobby we love so much. So thanks to 5-Star for supporting us through this whole journey. And, thanks for cleaning all of my stuff. It's all I use. PBW, man. I love it so much. It's good stuff.
It's hard to remember the time before there was 5-Star. And seriously, it made such everything they had made such a difference in homebrew. It really can't be overstated as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, because it used to be just, I was after bleach. I wasn't around for the bleach times.
Oh, God, I was.
In like the 80s or whatever, but then it was just iodophor as a sanitizer, but there was never really, jog my memory, there was never really a cleaner.
Right. I would just clean with hot water.
Yeah, hot water.
And then use the iodophor. So you were skipping a step, basically. You were kind of cleaning, but not really fully cleaning.
Right.
And
you had
organics.
to make like a bleach solution that was just enough bleach in your combination of bleach and water, and then let it dry and hope it wasn't going to give you chlorophenols. It was always going to give you chlorophenols. It's fucking bleach. It's a terrible idea to use that in anything you're going to make food or drinks out of.
Yeah, but the impact of 5-Star on the homebrewing community cannot be understated or overstated.
No, it really can't.
I guess. Yeah, it's
really can't.
Yeah, it's pretty massive. All right, let's drink some Mexican lagers, dudes. What do you think?
Let's do it.
What do you think?
I'm excited.
Yeah, I'm excited too. Okay. We should probably do it in order. The first one, Taco Truck Lager. What do you think?
Let's do it.
From Dust Bowl.
From Dust Bowl Brewing Company, 4.7%. I'm excited for this because I've always seen this on the shelf. but never bought it.
Brewed in Turlock, California.
I don't know why. So we have 4 beers. We have Dust Bowl, AleSmith. Of course, we have Modelo, and then Farmers Brewing. I tried to find El Sully, but my friggin' Bevmo was out. So
oh, no.
Apologies in advance to Sully for not having El Sully represented, because I'm sure it would be the best one.
El Sully's freaking awesome.
Yeah,
it's a really
stuff.
great beer.
All right, Taco Truck Lager. This says, say hola to this easy drinking Mexican style lager, crisp, smooth, and refreshing. That's just how Taco Truck. All right, so look at that. It's a big giant head on that thing. Pretty good. Not crystal clear, but okay.
I know. I might say mine is crystal clear.
Oh, fine. Well, that means a touch a little cloudy, but not really.
There's a light little haze in mine.
Yeah, I'm just being overly excited about Taco Truck Lager.
First of all, this is actually really good. I say actually. I say that all the time.
Really
I don't mean it as like, oh, well, I didn't really. I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. I sort of like judge beers by their names, like you do with wine. You're like, I don't really know what the fuck I'm looking for, so I look for like the artwork and the name. I don't know. Taco Truck, it just doesn't really. It's not
fancy artwork.
It's not fancy artwork, but the name to me is not inviting.
But Dust Bowl has a good name. In the brewing world, they do some really nice IPAs.
Yeah.
They do a lot of different styles.
So I guess I've just steered away from it because it seems more like the beer you would get, like the Trader Joe's brand beer that just sits warm on the shelf. I don't know. I just didn't really. Doesn't really vibe with me. Taco Truck. I just don't.
I was thinking it might be spiced. All these, I've seen this on the shelf, and I've always kind of assumed, wrongly, obviously, that it was some kind of spiced beer, like in a taco manner.
Yo, yeah, sure, dude.
Like maybe it had some cilantro
or some cumin or something. Yeah.
Or some cumin's
oregano.
Mexican cooking.
What are you talking
cumin
about?
And oregano. That cumin and oregano is eaten Mexican cooking.
Oregano?
You can't cook Oh yeah,
Mexican oregano. Yeah.
Yeah. You can't make pozole without oregano, man. Come on. Let's get real here.
I can't.
All right.
Okay. Well, anyway, I'm pleasantly surprised by this beer.
As am I. Really tasty.
It's bright. It's clean. It's refreshing. There is that. It's pretty aggressive bitter too. You guys get that?
It's firmly bitter.
There's a fair amount there to balance it. It's not over the top.
No, not over the top.
But it's crisp. It's light and it's crisp, and because of that, I think the bitterness that is there, it does stand out a little more than it would in a heavier beer. It's very light bodied.
Two things.
Light.
What style would this? What is the Mexican lager style? It's not just its own style, right?
It's 2A International Pale Lager.
Okay.
What's fascinating to me is the Brewers Association dropped 2023 style guidelines today in advance of GABF. And popular as Mexican lagers are, this is still not an official style either for the BJC or for the BA.
Yeah, I was looking for any style description, and it was not in any of the BA or BJCP guidelines.
That's odd. That's odd to me.
It's really odd given that Mexican lager is like the segment of the beer industry that is continually growing year over year. And you'd think that there would be, Bohemia and Negro Modelo, those are Vienna lager, essentially, right? Because that came from, and historically that comes from a time when there were a lot of German immigrants to Mexico when, like Napoleon III was the emperor of Mexico and some shit back in the 1800s.
Late 1800s,
yeah,
and a lot of them moved to Texas and Mexico.
Oh, yeah.
And there's still some remnants of those imported beer styles in Texas too.
Oh yeah,
Shinerbach or whatever.
There's a reason why parts of Texas, when they were required to have bilingual education, would have their second language be German, because a shit ton of people moved from Germany and Austria to Mexico in the late 1800s, and that brewing, and it's kind of funny. If you listen to mariachi music, sometimes when you hear that pop and you hear like there's a lot of German influence in mariachi. There's a lot of oompa stuff in there. And it's just that cultural mix of all the Germans that showed up in late 1800s. But in terms of a Bohemia is not a Corona or a Pacifico, and I think that it's hard for the BA and for the BJCP to figure out what a quote Mexican lager unquote is. That's different from what's already in the guidelines.
That makes sense. What do you
Yeah,
think?
so I mean, Corona Extra is one of them listed under 2A International Pale Lager and current guidelines.
Asahi
so.
Super Dry, Birra Moretti, Corona Extra, Devil's Backbone Gold Leaf Lager, Full Sail Session Premium Lager, Heineken, Red Stripe, Singha, but not Modelo. I don't know. I just don't get it. But whatever, man. You know, the commercial examples, that's fine. They're not the end all be all, right? We can make our own.
Well, I mean, this is a style that's copied all over the world. You know, Pilsners, like light, not German Pils, but light Pilsner style beers that got popularized, and mass market beers took over and spread around the world, and this is what you got. They're everywhere.
Well,
and they're all everybody wants to be.
I wonder what the Mexican
Budweiser.
beer market would be if the Germans didn't come over. Like, I wonder what their beer impact would be, because it would exist. I wonder what it would look like.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, they were making the Mayans were making fermented chocolate drinks, and they were drinking. The Mexicans have been for over 1,000 years. Mexicans have been drinking pulque. It's a drink similar to beer brewed with a fermented sap, certain agave plants, over 6% ABV. But it's not a beer with grains per se. But
I'd try it. Yeah, it's like a mead, I would guess at that point.
There was some fermented corn and honey beverages. I'm reading a really good article on a brewery called Silver Bluff.
Yeah, I saw that earlier myself. You know what I miss as far as Mexican influenced beers go? Is the Mexican stout you'd get at Christmas. And Eagle Rock, JP, had a great one, like 2010-ish. And that was a style around 2010. People were making like a Christmas imperial stout with Mexican chocolate. The Mexican chocolate was great.
Yeah, there was a
little ancho chile. There's a little bit of that heat. It wasn't hot. It was never a pepper beer.
No.
But you had that little burn that balanced out the chocolate, and oh my god, and Eagle Rock was one of the best.
I'll maybe I can get the recipe. What happens? He works at Party Beer now, but yeah, there was a hot moment where Mexican chocolate in pastry stouts was like the thing to do. Yeah, and which is, I mean, it's good stuff, so why not?
Yeah.
Okay, well, you know what? I like this beer a lot. I do think it's sort of on the lighter side. I mean, it's 4.7. I think I want a little more malt out of ours. Yeah, what do you guys think?
The corn in it is really, really light. It goes down very easy. It's crisp and dry.
Yeah.
Got a little sulfur in the nose, but that just at first that kind of blows off. There's nothing super challenging in this beer, but it's a very easy drinking beer. It would be great for hot weather, I would say, because might also actually be hydrating compared to some of the stronger ones.
I would also want lower bitterness.
Crisp, smooth, and refreshing. Just like the can says.
It's sharp. It's too sharp for me.
Sharp. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for. What's the next one? You want to do the AleSmith one?
Well, let's go by ABV maybe.
Okay. I mean, we didn't start with ABV, so I don't know.
Well, you did actually, because this is 4.7.
I didn't mean to, I guess.
It's the lightest one we've got.
Farmers is 5.5.
The Modelo is probably 4.
5.5.
Oh, this actually, no, you didn't. The Modelo is even lighter, so we should probably drink the 4.4 just to.
Let's do Modelo.
So we don't go too much the other way.
Let's do the Modelo, boys. I love a Modelo. It's a great beer. Modelo rules.
It's tasty. It's a good beer.
Yeah,
although
the dog bark.
I got a 12-pack of Modelo last year, and like with the cans, like this, it was crazy. Just picking them up, they like just almost fell apart, and they were just spraying beer everywhere. I don't know what was up with that.
Man,
it was just a bad can assembly there.
Look at that crystal clear. Look at that giant foamy head, dude. That's such a big. I love this. But like, smelling it, it smells metallic to me. It smells like someone put a penny in my glass.
Yeah,
which sometimes Modelo can get like old. I think it's just old.
I get a hint of that. It's not overwhelming, but I get maybe you're talking me into it, but I get a hint of that.
Yeah,
it's a
edge
lot for me.
Like an oxidized edge or something that wasn't there in the taco.
Yeah,
that taco truck's more fresh smelling.
Yeah,
tasting.
So drinking it out of the can, I sort of get the metallic, but not really. But putting it in the glass and smelling it, which I don't think I've ever done, very big metallic, any blood smell, which I don't like. The taco truck is definitely better, but there's something like that crisp, almost Heineken-like yeast character that Modelo has that I really like.
Yeah, it's soft when you get into the flavor. There's something a little off-putting in the aroma, not too bad, but flavor is nice and smooth.
Head to head, the taco truck is crisper and more bitter, and the Modelo is almost maybe slightly fruity.
Yeah, I gave you that.
Maybe a touch sweeter and has a little more corn to it.
I think it's that yeast. I mean, because it does. Now that I said Heineken, that's all I can think about. It does is very reminiscent of Heineken to me. And not the skunk part, but it's the phenols from the yeast yeast, I guess, or the esters or whatever it is. I always get they seem similar to me. Like you could probably give me this, especially this one right now, and say, "Here's a Heineken." And be like, "Thanks, dude. I love a Heineken," and I would never really know it. I never would know it.
But you know it because it doesn't smell like skunk. But
no, that's true. Yeah.
Heineken in cans doesn't taste like skunk.
Yeah,
no,
it can.
It's so good, dude. I miss those. That and Newcastle in a can. Those are my two. Yeah. I don't know, but there's not really a whole lot I want to pull from this one, at least this version of Modelo. But I do think Modelo is more mass marketed. It's, I guess, like, Budweiser, of course, right? Where it's not going to be full. It's not going to have a fullness in any way. It's sort of going to be, it just happens to be a lager from Mexico. I don't really, you know what I mean? I don't consider it necessarily a Mexican lager, but I'm at the store. I'm like, hey, I like this beer anyway. I'll buy it. But,
well, it's also come from Mexico, and the taco truck came from Turlock. So it's like 2 hours versus, several days probably.
Several. Do you know how far
here.
Mexico is? It's not that far.
It's not that far. I'm just thinking
kidding.
trains
I'm
and sitting
you.
in the desert. It's wintertime, so probably the heat that big of a deal. But it's like when beers come from Europe. Right? I mean, it's not like it's because it's from Mexico.
Right.
I mean, stuff gets unloaded in New York or New Jersey. You get stuck on a train. It's not refrigerated. It cooks all the way across that giant desert in the middle of the country, and it gets here, and it's kind of oxidized and not at its best.
Yeah.
And it's entirely possible this sat somewhere on a train.
It's hit or miss.
Or
Absolutely.
somewhere hot in Mexico for a while before it got here.
Sure. Anything you guys want to take from this, or should we move on fast?
They may refrigerate the trucks too. You never know.
You don't.
But as I'm going back and forth again with the taco truck, it's actually, I want to reverse what I said earlier. The taco truck has a little more of the corn character to it. It's a little richer malt.
Yeah, as it warms up, I did pull these
just
right out of the fridge.
Lighter in the flavor.
Yeah, I prefer the taco truck.
I do too.
I think I do too.
Yeah. All right, let's open the AleSmith.
That's the
do it.
5.5. These are both 5.5. The next ones, or no, 5.2.
Which I was surprised to not only see AleSmith up here, but they had a Mexican lager. Once again, so what I'm gathering from this style is that there's a lot of head retention. I mean, that's, it's weird. It's cloudy like the taco truck, but it's, look at that head, man. Jeez.
Yeah, I poured my AleSmith a while back and kind of let it warm up some. But yeah, when I first poured it, it had the biggest head of any of these four beers.
Yeah, that's wild, man.
Getting a little perfumey hop in the nose up front.
Oh, yeah.
Different than the other stuff we've tasted.
I agree.
Like a little floral thing. They might be using a German hop or something in this.
It's the aroma for me is like hay, like golden straw, like warm straw.
Yeah, it's more grainy smelling than the other ones. Less on the corn side maybe, but there's something a little sharp nose there that's not unpleasant, but sit to the other ones get. Right now this is blowing off the initial, the sulfurs and the hop, more volatile hop aromatics are going up nose here. So
yeah, and like the aroma
floral,
is crazy because
perfume, little almost like bubblegum like note to it. There's something interesting here. Not really fruity now, but there's something in
I don't know if it's because I read on the can where they say hint of corn tortillas. And I read that and I'm like, because when you throw I don't know how you heat up your corn tortillas, but I'll put them on the gas stove and like turn them on so they get a little crunchy on the outside, a little burnt almost. I like a burnt tortilla, I'll be honest, in places. It's those can kind of have that sweet corn kind of thing. And am I getting that? Or did I just read it from there and then it imprinted on my brain, my dumbass? But yeah, the nose is very rustic in a positive way. It's very ranch farm. It's almost like when I first poured it, I was like, oh, of course the AleSmith guys probably have some weird ass heritage corn or something like that. It's that kind of that kind of like intense flavor of a grain or some sort of starch in there.
Yeah, I kind of what you say about the corn tortilla and the stoves.
Get on your mic, buddy.
Sorry, my wife knows how to get those corn tortillas just right on the gas stove.
There you go.
They're so good. I mean, I would burn them or they'd be too raw, but she gets them just right, and they're so good when they're warm and they're a little toasty, a little maybe slightly burned, like you were saying, a little bit. Not they're not black, but you get like a few little burn marks, and that carbon flavor is really good. I definitely get some corn tortilla out of this.
Their website doesn't really offer much. It just says what it says on the can. Made with the finest quality German and Vienna malt as a subtle hop aroma, hint of corn tortilla, and refreshing finish. So I would imagine there's corn in here, even though they're not saying it. And I wonder why they're not saying it. If it's because they're still like, corn is bad. You know, that marketing from the 90s.
That's what Miller does. Yeah.
I'm drinking it now.
Mean it's bad if they add corn. I mean, corn is very flavorful, and it's got a lot of good qualities to put in beer.
It's interesting drinking the alcohol different. Like this beer has like some heft to it. I think it might be a little overaged. It wasn't treated very well. I guess I get like a raisiny thing, which by no account is the fault of AleSmith. It's more Bevmo, but that, you know, the devil you Bevmo. You know what I mean? But there's a lot to like. There is a firm bitterness. That aromatic is awesome. I would love something that aromatic in a beer that we make. You know, that corn, that warm corn tortilla char
Grainy,
a little bit. Yeah.
Hay-like.
Yeah.
Perfumey and floral hops. Yeah, it's balance to the that's going on there. I like the flavor too. It's pretty easy drinking. I'm not getting big oxidation here, but might be just slightly.
You're not okay. Am I making it up?
I'm not getting huge oxidation myself. There's maybe a little bit, but it's not huge to me.
Okay.
This is the cans we're getting have been around since September last year.
Oh,
at the bottom.
Okay.
So it is a little probably past its prime.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure this is a lot better. It's a fresher can that hasn't been sitting at Bevmo for 6 or whatever.
Well, also to brew a Mexican lager in September, hell yeah, dude. Good. Well, I mean, they're in San Diego, so. But yeah, I mean, you know, I bet fresh. This will kick your ass. This is how good it is.
The taco truck is 220.23. It's fresher.
Okay. All right,
and you can tell it's fresher.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. Definitely.
So when I'm down in San Diego for HomebrewCon, I'll have to go to AleSmith and taste some of this Mexican lager down there, fresh source, and I will report back to you. But
yeah, see if you can talk to them about what's in it, like corn wise, and like, you know, I'm interested in that kind of corn flavor.
There's something complex here that's interesting. When it's fresh, I'm sure this is domestic.
I'm trying to find like if you can get flaked heritage corn, Bloody Butcher malted
get all
red
kinds
corn.
of flaked heritage.
Yeah, like already flaked, so we don't have to do a cereal mash.
Flake it yourself.
I wouldn't even know how to do that.
Heat it up and press it through some rollers.
Oh,
here's
okay.
Something from a place called Great Fermentations. Sugar Creek malted Oaxacan green corn crushed, 1 pound.
Green corn. I don't even know.
I don't know. This was made in Lebanon, Indiana.
I wonder if you get that multicolored corn, like crushed and flaked. That would be cool.
Well, that'd be great.
We were talking when Warren and I were doing the fuck is that dumb show we had, Heads and Tails. People using like Bloody Butcher.
That was a great show. I enjoyed that show a lot.
No one would come on. It was much like this show. Like we just didn't have people fucking on. It sucked. And the bottles are too expensive for us to just buy and sit there and talk about it.
Yeah.
Anyway, people are using like the Bloody Butcher corn. I think we've had people on the session that use that too. That's like the sort of heritage corn that makes the rounds, and you can buy it, but it's not flaked or whatever. And I don't know if I want to go through the process of whatever that means to.
You can get it crushed from Great Fermentations.
Yeah, but you have to do a cereal mash.
Probably.
I don't even know what that is, so I'm not going to do it.
Yeah, it should be mashed with base malt for complete conversion. I saw Warren at CBC.
Oh, yeah?
Nice. Yeah, it was pretty cool. We hung out for a little bit. It was always nice to see him.
Yeah, I guess. All right, let's do the last one. Let's do the Farmer's Brewing. Man, these pour very lively. So this is one I almost didn't purchase because, actually there was one at Bevmo that was from San Jose, but it looked very like partner brewing, like someone just has a brand, you know.
Yeah, I hear that.
But this one, I don't know. It was seems, I don't know. It was just the Farmer's Brewing didn't really seem like I don't know.
Their slogan is "Put your lips on a farmer." You gotta like that.
Well, that was one of the reasons. Like, I don't know about that. That's very
cheesy.
Very late '90s marketing.
California.
Yeah.
Where
so
is Princeton, California?
I don't know.
Heard of that?
But that is a clear ass beer, dude.
Where is it?
It's a little sweet. I get a little sweetness off of this one.
It smells hoppy. Like it smells like
there's like a fresh, more American style hop quality to this.
Yes. Right.
It's like citrusy modern American hops.
Princeton is in Colusa County by the Sacramento River, a little bit west of Oroville.
Okay, nice.
I've never been there.
Okay.
No, I never even heard about it, but it looks cool. I think their gig is like they farm all their stuff, like they grow all the shit. It's like farm to can or whatever.
That's cool.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, I'm gonna buy these guys, dude, and we'll see what's up.
This is the strongest one of the four. It's a 5.5. The AleSmith was 5.2. Zello 4.4. So light,
super light.
Taco Truck 4.7. So yeah.
Yeah, the aroma almost smells worty, like under fermented or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, that's maybe I don't know if it goes so far as to call it worty. I do get some sweetness out of it.
Okay, yeah, okay, all right, maybe that's it.
But maybe, I mean, if you smell worty, you smell worty. You know, that's your perception is your perception.
Yeah, but it doesn't mean my vocabulary can't be corrected a little bit, you know.
Yeah.
So a 2A international pale lager can go from about 4.5 up to 6%. That's kind of the common.
Imagine getting a 6% Mexican lager.
6 would be an outlier. Yeah,
Fuck, man.
I would say the Mexican lagers for this style, they lean towards the crisper, more corn heavy and really dry, refreshing side of the style. Whereas others can have a little more sweetness, others can have a little more alcohol. You don't usually see 6%ers, but 5.5 isn't uncommon. Modelo at 4.4, and that's I'm sure considered a pretty standard Mexican lager to get there. And that's it's just in the hot sun, drinking a lot of trying to get a few of these in without completely dehydrating yourself. It's par for the course, I would say.
Yeah.
Sunny, hot climate. And Turlock's pretty sunny and hot in the summer too. They're in the Central Valley there.
Oh yeah, that's not far from Fresno.
No, but the brewery there is really nice. I've been there, and my band performed at an Oktoberfest party there. It was fantastic fun.
Oh wow, that sounds pretty cool.
I wore my lederhosen and had a time.
Of course you did. There you go.
Yeah, we got a hotel and stayed nearby, so we just no holds barred. Just had a lot of fun.
What do you think about this beer?
Nice.
I find it lighter and less challenging in the flavor. It's like an alcohol delivery mechanism. It's a little stronger, and it goes down easy and smooth, but it's not challenging in many other ways. Just
yeah. For me, I would. It's a little hot. I would prefer it at if this was 4.7 or 8. I think it would really benefit because it would be so much lighter and I think crisper.
But here I'm getting almost no corn flavor. It's really just kind of gone. And I don't know. I'm not getting oxidation. It tastes pretty fresh. It's nice. Yeah,
this is the thing. I like the beer. I think that it's well made. I think there's a lot of attention to detail. Yeah. The ingredients are great. It's definitely the most different than the 3 or the 4 that we've tried, but if I were making this for me, I would lower the alcohol a bit because I think it throws it a little. I don't know if it's a Mexican lager.
That's this big in body. It's a very full-bodied beer. You don't expect a Mexican lager to have that much body.
Right. I think it's too much body. I almost don't think it's a Mexican lager. It almost tastes more like more along the lines like a Helles, but not the yeast flavor.
Go with that.
Brian Cooper is offended right now. He hung his head. Yeah. And I'm not saying that you go, this is a Helles because the yeast character isn't there, but in that sort of capacity of that type of malt heaviness.
I don't know. Yeah. It's I don't think you guys are going off on a lot of tangents here. Yeah. Body-wise, it's not a Helles.
I know it's not. I'm saying it's more along the lines of that than it is a Mexican lager.
It's more watery tasting. There's the lightness of flavor. It's not maybe watery in texture necessarily, or but it's just not. It's not crisp because it's lacking that.
It's not crisp. Flabby. It's flabby.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's flabby in a wine sense. Coop, you're the guy that blends. What if you tried to blend a taco truck and a Classico?
Okay,
get the hops, the bitterness of the taco truck, and the corn tortilla and the high flavor of the AleSmith. If I had an extra glass in front of me, I would do it right now.
Well, I brought a 5th glass out just for this purpose. So thank
you. Because you're the king of blending, man.
Ooh,
you
that's good.
You should have a blender.
Yeah, the Classico with the taco truck. That is nice. So
I was thinking that maybe the taco truck, I like it a lot. It might be a little bitter for the style.
Yeah.
And if you combine that with the Classico, you maybe get a better bitterness level and also get the benefit of the other flavors of the Classico.
Okay,
I'm blending the taco truck is very clean and it's got a lot of flavor too, but it's very clean.
I did about a 60-40. I think that's what I would want out of our
I just did the taco truck separately with the Modelo. I tried that other blend and it was okay, but the Modelo has a little fresher and it's just light and out of the way. Taco truck, bringing in some of that corn richness boosts the Modelo a little bit, and that's nice.
Yeah.
Here's the thing.
But then I'm just gonna add the other two, of course,
because why not? Here's the thing about all these beers: they're all well made, and blending them together, it's sort of, I don't know, it's homogenizes all the. I don't know. I guess really don't know where I'm going with it. I think it's really neat. I think it's really cool.
It washes out the things that you don't care for about certain ones. Like, oh, okay, that's a little too much this, a little too much that. And then they all kind of come together.
Yeah, but it also makes me appreciate those things when I drink them individually. Yeah. So it's very odd. It's like...
Exactly.
Yeah.
But Jason, you're always the one that talks about things that poke out. Sometimes when you blend, you kind of remove, or you the things that poke out kind of don't poke out as much.
Right.
And they become maybe more pleasant because it's blended with something else that
rounds
it takes down that it rounds them out.
Retasting the ale, Smith, as it's warm, I get honey, and I think that's oxidation creeping in. Just because it's 9 months old.
Yeah, just even smelling it as I'm sipping it, it's like honeysuckle.
The Farmers doesn't have that.
I get a little honey in that.
There's nothing challenging about the Farmers. It's just alcohol and a little malt. There's not even. It's missing that graininess. It's missing that corn.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of what makes the AleSmith interesting. And the taco truck has a nice corn.
But I do like that malt flavor in that Farmers. The Baye, I guess. I don't know. I do like that the core flavor of that beer is very good.
It tastes like a very good, but it doesn't, very good malt, like a very good Pils malt.
Yeah, it just doesn't taste like a Mexican lager.
It doesn't have enough of the corn. And they're going light on the corn.
I mean, drinking out of the can. I'm trying to figure out what it would be without the corn. I can't get over Helles, even though it. Yeah.
Well,
anyway,
it's probably,
I was reading.
Yeah, more Helles-like than any of the others.
Yeah,
but
it's not, and I know that, and I appreciate it.
Because it also has a little hop, but it's also not the right kind of hop, Helles. So it's interesting.
I was talking more pure like malt and body. Yeah. Okay, we're taking a break. We're gonna come back and we're gonna figure out what we're gonna brew, what recipe we're gonna make, and we'll do it on the fly here. I think it'll be fun. So hang on, everyone. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back. What's up, homebrewers? Hey, let me ask you a question. You spend a lot of time making your beer taste the way you want it to, right? Some of you even send beers into Dr. Homebrew for feedback. Well, the next logical step in your creativity is to craft some labels for those beers. And there's nobody better at creative labels than Grog Tag. Their easy-to-use designs let you turn out some pretty amazing stuff like labels, bottle caps, coasters, even six-pack carriers with minimal effort on your part. They have a range of label sizes that fit any vessel you can think of. Bottles, cans, growlers, kegs. GrogTag has you covered. Head over to grogtag.com today and check out their line of amazing, fully customizable templates and get your beer looking its best. Grog tags are water resistant, reusable, and will have your naked bottles looking great in no time. That's grogtag.com, and be sure to use code BNARMY at checkout to save 10% on your order.
Hello, fellow BNers. This is Sully from the 21st Amendment Brewery located in San Francisco, just 2 blocks from Giants Park. Before Nico and I opened the 21A and before I was a professional brewer, I homebrewed on my small 4-burner apartment stove in a back house in Santa Monica, California, making my extract brews before graduating to the daunting idea of all-grain brewing. Homebrew books and information was hard to come by back then. The internet hadn't been invented yet, along with other things we take for granted today, like electricity and potable water. One thing I wish I had back then when I was learning was a radio show that could teach me the ins and outs of brewing and answer questions that I had about homebrewing, a resource for making great craft beer. The 21st Amendment Brewery is excited to be a proud sponsor of Dr. Homebrew, a great show that teaches you what you need to know about making incredible beer. Good stuff. Listen up, you might learn something. I certainly did. And thanks for your support. Tasty Crack Kings.
I'm sorry to tell you this, but we're going to have to pour you out.
Back to Dr. Homebrew.
Thanks for sticking around, everybody. We are back. We're going to be plugging along with our Mexican lager show. Is that all right, Brian Shar?
It's fine.
You got something to do?
No worries.
Okay, sure. Because, I mean, I don't really care. We can just
It's not a big deal. We're almost done. We're almost done. I can call her in half an hour. It's not a big deal.
Okay. I would like to be done in half an hour, so that's great. All right, perfect. Okay, so let's get started. Do I need to, pull up my fucking beersmith and, pay for the thing to get this doing? Or, Cooper, do you have something?
No.
All right, well then, let me open this up and let me do this whole thing. Probably should have figured this out beforehand, but that's my fault. Buy a new Smith license.
Oh, no.
Wait, one-time basic. Okay, so you can just buy it. Basic cloud membership, desktop version only, minor updates only. I don't know what the fuck that means.
It means they're not going to give you the
updates only.
when they do a overhaul of it and give all these
don't
improvements.
get it.
You'll just get the minor stuff.
Web editing not included. What the fuck does that even?
I was still using ProMash like 6 years ago, which is nuts. I had to like use some emulator on like Windows 8 or something to be able to run it too.
So mad.
I'm just going to pound the rest of these Mexican lagers while you're doing that.
4 cans, yeah.
Easy drinking. He's not amused at all.
No, I'm just annoyed that I got to go through this stuff. It's all right. It's fine. I'm not worried about it. I hate having to buy something fucking
over
$15
and over again.
$15, but you can't do month to month. It's a fucking 1 year. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I understand the amount of effort that goes into it. I respect it and I appreciate it. But it's just too much, man. It's too much.
I could do a pico brew recipe for a standard. Sorry, not standard American.
Well, I already did it. I already did it. So we're not gonna do something different.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Oh, okay. I didn't know you already did it, but yeah, a year.
We need to have some corn in the recipe.
Charge it to Justin.
Yeah,
okay.
exactly.
But it is a tax write-off. So what is this called? What's the beer style?
2A International Pale Lager.
International Pale Lager. There we go, Dave. All right, and we're going to call this Dr. Home...
No, Dr. Hombre is what it has to be called.
Dr. Hombre.
Dr. Hombre.
All right. Okay, so what is the first... What are we doing for malt?
Well,
we're doing we're doing a 5-gallon batch. Okay, so let's add a fermentable. What are we going to add? Is it going to be 2-row? Is it more of a German malt because it's a German sort of influenced style?
So classically you would use 6-row barley in a, but you can use 2-row barley in a international pale lager.
I don't even think people make 6-row barley anymore.
Here's the thing. Yeah. I mean, the 6-row barley is what you need when you're doing a cereal mash and you're gelatinizing the starches from your corn or rice, and then you're adding it into your main mash. It needs more enzymes to convert it. 6-row barley has a lot more enzymatic power. The diastatic power is higher, and it's able to convert that 30% corn charge with no problem. It's got enough to convert itself, and then probably 70% extra or 100% extra. Ferment a whole nother thing with no enzymes in it. But yeah, I mean, chances are a lot of these probably use 2-row barley.
Is that what we want to use? Like with some of these malt characters that are coming through, do you think 2-row is that it, or should we do like a sweeter, like a Golden Promise or something like that to maybe offset or accentuate some corn, or you know what I mean? Like we can just sort of do all that.
This is not a perfumey Pilsner malt here,
Yeah,
but I don't know that it's a 2-row. I mean, maybe a mix of Pilsner and 2-row, but corn as well, right? I mean, corn is going to be. We were doing this thing. There's a brewery in Phoenix. They do a Tio Oso Mexican lager. They're like, corn is ubiquitous in Mexican culture. It's in the tortillas, it's in the food, it's everywhere. And we've talked about that in some of these beers about the corn influence.
Yeah.
And I think whatever we do, we want to have some corn, maybe some Pilsner, but I wouldn't have this be all 2-row or 6-row.
Yeah, you can blend Pilsner and 2-row. I don't know if we're going to find, 6-row. If we're going to use, so we have to decide if we're going to use flake ingredients or if we're going to use, do we want to be hard on ourselves? Or
no, I don't think I would think we want to be easy on ourselves because, none of us really care that much. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like we're trying to have a good time. Yeah. But if we, and especially because we want Char to be able to do this. But I mean, Cooper, if you want to, I'll tell you what, let's do this and see how it works. And if we want to try to like be hard on ourselves in another challenge, we could definitely do something like that. I think that could be fun.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So let's do a blend of 2-row and Pils malt. Maybe 60-40, 70-30. I'll go mostly pale 2-row.
Yeah, maybe 60-40. Or I mean, what Coop, do you think? Is there going to be much of a difference between 60-40 and 70-30?
Oh, I mean, 10%.
Or we go right in the middle, go 75-25.
We could do that.
You in favor of what? In favor of 2-row?
In favor of 2-row.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because this is not. I mean, German Pilsner, German Helles, all the German styles are very perfumey Pilsner. And none of these beers are are super perfumey, like
too characterful, and it's also going to risk kicking off a little more sulfur than we want.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm not getting sulfur in any of these. There's very light sulfur, but it's not. It blows off really quick, and it's not offensive at all.
It's a
These
sign
are all
that it's a lager beer.
very nicely lagered.
Okay, what's next? So, and then we got the corn. So how much corn
Yeah.
should we have? What's that percentage of?
Okay. Yeah. So the blend of 75, 25 and corn, I would say at least 20%.
Yeah, I would agree with that because we want to be able to taste the corn.
You said 20%?
But it shouldn't be overwhelming.
Okay.
20% of the fermentables is probably a good starting.
That's sort of what I was thinking too.
You don't want it to be too heavy and on the corn, or just too much cereal adjunct is going to make it too light bodied.
Yeah, but I think the point of these beers is to have it stand out. No, it's like anything, right? You want it to accentuate and be noticeable. And I think a lot of Mexican lagers don't have that.
Yeah, you could, I could be talked into 25%, but
I think 20 is fine.
Mm-hmm.
I think 20 is fine.
Okay.
I just sort of wish we had like heritage corn that's like flake. And maybe I'll try to poke around the internet and see if I can find it.
Yeah, let's try
That'd
to
be
find
fun.
some interesting corn that's going to get more character per percentage in the grain bill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
have it
totally
stand
on
out.
board with that.
So of the total grain bill, what is the percentage of two-row and Pilsner and corn?
Okay, so of the 20% corn,
Mhm.
and then the remainder is 0.8. So 0.8 times 0.75 is 0.6. It's 60% two-row.
Yeah, but so what do I put in for the for like how many pounds, and you know what I mean? So right now I have 20%
Let's just start
corn.
with percentages. Let's start with percentages.
So right now I have 20% corn.
right,
I have
20% corn.
I have 32.6% Pilsner and 47.4% two-row.
Okay, that's not right. It should be
Yeah.
60% two-row, because it just adjusted for you, and you should have 20% of Pilsner.
Okay.
So that still gives you that 75% two-row to 25% Pilsner malt. I think we should use the German Pilsner malt, not just any Environments or something.
Yeah. So I'm gonna.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I agree with that. That's what I have. I don't want to increase that.
Okay.
Okay.
Although now what we can consider is adding a little of Vienna or something
There we
else
go.
for a little color and a little distinctness in the malt bill.
Well, okay. Well, so right now we have 9 points. Well, let's see. Okay, so first of all, that is way too high. But we can adjust that down because right
9% ABV Mexican lager.
it says the estimated original gravity is a 1084, and that's not what we want.
1084.
But the cool
Let's
thing-
make an imperial Mexican lager.
But
turn it into a 10-gallon batch.
yeah. Well, the cool thing about this is that it can
It'll scale.
it'll scale up and down. So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later, I guess.
Okay.
Do we want to add Vienna? I personally don't think we need to.
I don't know.
If we were going to go in the direction of a Bohemia or a Negra Modelo, I'd say yes. But based on these beers, I don't think we're going that direction.
I don't think so either.
What if we just did a very small percent? Just add
Let's do it.
2.5% or something. Instead
Okay.
of-
An ounce, yes.
Sure.
just for an edge of interestingness.
Vienna malt, 6 ounces. There you go. All right, let me slide this motherfucker down. So what should be our starting gravity?
Probably around 1045.
Shar, you good with that?
Sounds right to me.
Okay.
That's going to get us to like a 5-ish%.
Okay.
Slide a little under 5. That's probably nice.
So we got
Exactly. I think based on what we were discussing earlier, I think that we would like to be, maybe like a 4.8, 4.7, something like that.
okay. So for the malt bill, we have 15. Oh no, excuse me. What the hell am I talking about? 58.6% two-row, 19.5% Pilsner, German Pilsner, 19.5% flaked corn, and 2.3% Vienna malt. Okay, and that's 14.4 pounds, 1 pound 10 ounces, 1 pound 10 ounces, and 3.1 ounces.
In this must be a 10-gallon batch.
5-gallon batch.
14 pounds of grain.
Yeah. No. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 and a third.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's better.
All right, let's do hops. What are we doing hop wise? This is the problem. This is the ever present question. Whenever and this is the hard part about making a recipe from scratch, is because you want to just do. My mind goes in all different directions. Should we do new school? Should we do classic? What are we doing? Are we trying to? Maybe this is more of a better question. Are we trying to brew a beer that we like to drink, or are we trying to brew a beer to style? Where if we entered it into a competition, it would score. It would be the winning beer, obviously.
Yeah.
Is that what we're trying to do? I feel like that's what we should be trying to do.
So we don't want the hops to twist American.
Right.
We also don't want, honestly, you probably don't want the hops to twist too strongly towards a really characterful German. Maybe maybe a neutral bittering hop like Magnum at a very small amount.
Okay.
And then the aroma, maybe blending a couple of German hops like Tettnang and Spalt or something like that. Just so it has that that classic European, but to me the Hallertau I think is going to be characterful and it's going to take over with floral. And I mean the others are very nice soft hops and have their own characters too. But if you blend them, it might wash out some of that. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here.
No, I agree because Mexican lager is this really fascinating mix of indigenous ingredients and German and Austrian ingredients that were influenced heavily by the German and Austrian immigrants to Mexico. So I think having that German hop character in here would be great.
Yeah, I think so too.
It's not this is not a style that has a lot of hop flavor, a lot of hop aroma, but a little bit should be here.
I agree. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Actually, let's take a quick break. We'll come back and we're going to figure out how much hops to put in and then what yeast, and then we're done. We're out of here. I can't wait to brew this. So hang on, everyone. It's Dr. Homebrew. We'll be right back.
Now, back to the examination.
All right, here we are. I promised you. I told you we'd be back, and we are. Here we are. Okay, so we got Magnum, Spalt, and Tettnang. What are we doing? Are we doing the classic, like, 60, 15, 5 or whatever the fuck are we doing? Or how are we hopping this bitch?
I think I would just do a 60 and a 5.
60 and a 5.
Yeah.
All right, so definitely Magnum 60 and then maybe just a Spalt Tettnang blend at 5.
We're not whirlpool hopping this thing.
And then add 6 pounds of mosaic.
Yeah, mosaic cryo.
6 pounds of Motueka, yeah.
Okay, obviously the alpha acids are going to change when once we buy them or whatever, but they're default set. So let me scale this because right now it has 49 IBUs.
Okay.
So how hoppy do we want this?
That's a little bitter for this.
Yeah, a little bit. So the range is 18 to 25.
Yeah, let's hit 20 or low 20s.
Yeah, I'm down. That's a good idea.
Should have a little bitterness to balance, but nothing too challenging.
Right. This doesn't have to be in the low end, but it doesn't need to be pushing the high end for the style either,
Yeah, how about 22?
2 sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
Okay. All right, so that brings us to 0.44 ounces of Magnum at 60, and that's at 12%. 0.44 ounces of Spalt at 5 minutes, and that's 4.75% alpha. And then 4.4 ounces of Tettnang at 4% alpha at 5 minutes.
Was it 4.4 or 0.44?
0.44. They're all the same.
Thank you.
Okay. Did I say 4.4?
You said 4.4.
Okay.
Like, whoa,
right.
Whoa, Nelly.
Yeah. No, it's all split evenly. It's all 0.44 ounces.
Yeah, I like that. 44. It can be our logo on the can. It's the 44 hop.
There you go.
I don't know.
Okay. I mean, I think that's good. What yeast are we doing? That's the question. There's so many yeasts out there now. Normally I'd be like, oh, it's just White Labs, like whatever. But like, there's so many yeasts. Should we each choose our own? Should we just not tell the other person what we're doing for yeast and then we figure it out?
Well, there is a WOP 940 White Labs Mexican lager for pitch.
Let me get on More Beer because I think More Beer has like a bunch of other stuff too. And
there's an Imperial.
Imperial has it. Yeah, I think we should do that. Let's not tell each other what we're doing with yeast and let's see what we choose.
Good idea.
You know what I mean? And see if we can just tell, or we can each maybe first come first serve, where it's like I get to More Beer and I go, I'm buying the fucking Imperial or I'm buying the White Labs, and you guys have to choose something else.
Buying the hazy IPA yeast.
So we don't double up and maybe we try to diversify a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The only difference being the yeast.
Yeah, the only difference being the yeast. Yeah. Well, and so Shar is brewing on his stove.
Yeah, I mean that is going to be a big difference.
But I believe they have flaked maize syrup. Are you doing extract Shar? Or are you doing all grain or partial mash?
I don't know. I'm probably going to do like at least a partial mash, probably do a full mash just in my spaghetti pot. I'll do I'll do a gallon of this essentially.
A gallon,
maybe 2,
okay.
But probably a gallon and a half.
Really?
Probably do all grain, just because the spaghetti pot, has that center thing with the holes. I can lift that up. I can boil after I mash.
Okay, so you got the spaghetti pot with the screen, and
exactly.
I could do mine that way too. I could just
we should all. I think part of the beauty of this is that we're going to use the same ingredients, pick our own yeast, and we'll all have different processes. And that'll be fun. And, it'll be curious. I'll be curious how, what differences come out of the different processes we all have. And maybe when we're done, we'll give these all to, Taryn or my wife or your wife or something, and they can double blind the entries, and we can judge these not knowing whose is whose.
That's true. Okay, well, there you go.
We've got process difference and we've got yeast difference.
Yeah.
I mean, we could also just standardize the yeast and choose one. I mean,
we could, but I feel like the yeast difference will be is sort of fun. It's something more to talk about.
I agree.
Let's do that.
I think we have to talk Shar into using your Pico Brew instead of the spaghetti pot.
I feel like we should. Well, I think you guys need to get together.
We'll talk about this off air.
Okay, let's do that. All right, everybody, that's it. That's our Mexican lager show. I got 4 beers to finish. Well, 3 because I don't really think I want to finish that Modelo. That's definitely a beer to have when you're 3 beers in and it's really hot. And you're like, okay, now I can start on the beer that doesn't taste very good. But if you
Modelo, you remember Schaefer? Remember when they had ads in the mid 80s? The 1 beer to have when you're having more than one.
Oh, hell yeah! if you want to get your homebrew,
had a drawing of grain on the can.
That
means it had to be good.
That's right.
For light.
If you want to get your beer on Dr. Homebrew, email Brian@thebrewingnetwork.com and we will evaluate your beer, live BJCP score sheet. If you are a commercial brewer and you want us to check your beers out and maybe help you, I know it's humbling maybe as a commercial brewer to put yourself in this position of dipshit home brewers trying to help you out, but these guys do know their styles. So if you're trying to nail a style and really punch it up and you need our help, Brian@thebrewingnetwork.com. If you just want to see maybe what your odds are on the next competition you enter, is this beer to style, Brian@thebrewingnetwork.com. You want to hash out recipe issues, or if there's some funky flavor that you're not really sure about or whatever, Brian@thebrewingnetwork.com.
What if you brew meads or ciders?
You can get fucked, basically. No, Brian@thebrewingnetwork.com. Any beverage.
What about sake?
Brian@thebrewingnetwork.com. Any beverage you want to send in, anything you make at home, we will drink and evaluate accordingly.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
Accordingly.
Whoa. All right, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in. I appreciate it very much. Please don't forget to stop by the 5-Star Chemical booth at NHC, right, Brian?
Yeah.
All right. Brian will be there stalking the ladies at
I'll be there. And
NHC HomebrewCon.
Like us on Facebook,
I don't really care about that.
Us.
But But if you're going to a HomebrewCon, stop by 5-Star booth, say hi.
Yes.
Thank them very much for being a part of this show, and we really appreciate it.
Cheers.
Yeah. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. We'll see you.